how are you going to know that you're going to use your time wisely? That's the one thing that I consider a lot of the time, because it's very easy to stay busy, but it's very difficult to stay productive. And so what is going on? Welcome to the Risen Fallen Podcast. I am your host, Mark Hendrickson, and if you're brand new to the show, then what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like mental health, self-development, and how to get your life moving in the right direction. If you're not feeling good about where you are right now, at least knowing that you are making at least one step closer to the person that you'd like to be in the future, the person that you'd like to be, that you wish you were right now, knowing that you're getting close to that every single day. And if you're not new to this show, if you're a returning listener, returning viewer, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listen to the podcast version on any audio platform, thank you very much for coming back, supporting the show, supporting the movement, and supporting the idea of making yourself 1% better every single day, and along the way, lifting other people up as well. With all that said, welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. Happy Monday morning if you're listening to the audio version of this. I hope that you are doing well as we start this week off. I hope that you're, feeling good, recovered, rejuvenated from the weekend, and ready to grind into this week of, trying to make yourself better. Like, we were just talking about. I don't know if you guys feel this ever when maybe you're like, for me, I feel it the most when I'm approaching the weekend. The weekends, Saturday and Sunday are usually the time where I am able to dedicate the most amount of time to the podcast and to working on the podcast, whether it be filming or editing. But the weekend's also my time to take care of all my other chores, laundry, dishes, meal prepping. And it's also the only time that I have to dedicate towards, spending time with my loved ones, my family, etc. And so, because my schedule is so jam-packed during the week, Monday to Friday, with work and training and just trying to keep up with all the things that need to be kept up with, the weekends are kind of my time where I tick off all the little boxes. Kind of just the way that I have my life structured. But as I approach the weekend, sometimes this stresses me out. It makes me a little bit anxious. Like Friday night, I get a little bit of anxiety thinking, am I going to get done all the things that I need to do this weekend? It kind of creates a little bit of stress and anxiety for me because I feel like sometimes I wake up on Monday morning and I'm like, fuck, my week's not really prepared enough because I forgot about taking care of a couple things this weekend, and now I have to scramble to try and get them done during the week, and then that's going to send me back next weekend, and then that's going to send me back next week, and I have this constant feeling of like needing to play catch up or just like needing to stay on top of all these things. And so maybe you feel the same. Maybe you feel similar. Maybe you have a similar situation, but it's maybe just structured around different things. But whatever it could be, when I approach the weekend, I get that sense of anxiety and stress of, how are you going to know that you're going to use your time wisely? That's the one thing that I consider a lot of the time, because it's very easy to stay busy, but it's very difficult to stay productive. And so when I approach, a few days where I know, okay, I'm going to be able to dedicate some of this time or the majority of this time towards getting a little bit closer and further towards my goals, I need to make sure that I can use the most of it so that I'm not feeling anxious or stressed or regretful or guilty afterward. And so one of the things that happens, again, a lot of the time, because I'm grinding through the week and maybe I'm losing sleep here and there, and I'm not resting as well as I possibly could because I'm just grinding through. A lot of the time, on top of all of the things I have to do on top of the weekend, that's also the only time that I have to rest and recover. And so it just kind of creates this like clusterfuck of a weekend sometimes where I I'm actually waking up early and working longer on the weekends than I do during the week, because knowing that that's the only time I can grind towards my other goals, I tend to put more pressure on the weekend than I do on the week. And so all of this is kind of just like a roundabout way of explaining how my brain and my life works with my schedule. But I do think it's interesting and important to talk about, because, there's times where I wake up on the weekends and I maybe sleep in past when I need to wake up. And it's not like I'm, working, for anybody else on the weekends. It's always just working for myself, getting work done that I need to get done. So there's nobody holding me accountable. There's nobody holding me, there's nothing over my head saying, like, if you don't do this, if you don't show up on time, you're not going to get paid, you're not going to get work, you're going to get fired, etc. Like, it really is just my own self, keeping myself accountable and keeping myself disciplined towards, working towards what I want to work towards. So there's times on occasion, like this morning, where I wake up on a Saturday morning with a long list of things to do that I made for myself last night on Friday when I felt anxious. I made a list of shit that I need to get done this weekend. And so I wake up this morning thinking, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning on Saturday. I'm going to get up at 4, start grinding towards this list. And then I wake up Saturday morning and it's 7:30. And I'm like, fuck, I'm 3.5 hours behind my schedule. There's a lot of shit that I have to get done. And I don't know how I'm going to, it was already going to be stressful, and now I'm behind in time. So now it's double stressful. And so that was how my first few thoughts went this morning. And I decided pretty early on in the sequence of thoughts that I'm not going to let this day go to waste. And I'm also not going to live this day stressed and anxious and racing against the clock, because I've already set myself back in time. And so the conversation I had with myself is very similar to the conversation I'm about to have with you. And that is, I decided I need to win this day. I need to feel good about today. And I need to feel proud about myself. And I need to do that because if I don't win today, I'm not going to feel proud of this week. So if I'm not proud of this week, that means, I'm not going to be proud of this entire month, et cetera, et cetera. You know how this thought pattern goes. And so this morning I made the decision. I'm like, I need to win today. I need to win. And, I need to do something that makes myself proud. I need to complete all the things that I set out to complete so I can be proud. And I had this conversation. It was a really brief conversation, but I had this conversation with somebody today because they were telling me about doing 75 hard and saying, like, I'm sick as a dog right now and I'm still doing 75 hard and I have no idea how. And it's the exact same concept I'm about to explain to you, because when you have to win, a lot of us think of the goal to win. I have to win, so I'm going to win the game. A lot of us, when we look at the idea of, completing the task, we look at the entire task at hand. So if you were to think of, having a full year where you're proud of yourself, that means, okay, I'm going to be good and I'm going to complete my stuff for this full year. Actually, I think it's more important or more easy to look at it from the terms of, an athlete. I know I grew up playing sports, and I'm sure a lot of you guys grew up playing sports as well. But this is a really good analogy to be able to break down this idea that I'm thinking about right now. Because if you're an athlete, you play on a team. Say you play on a hockey team. We're all Canadian. I grew up playing hockey, so that'll be an easy comparison to make. But when you skate out on the ice and you do your warm-up, and you go and you start the game, the idea is you want to win the game. And, from the time that you show up to the arena and put on your uniform and you get out on the ice and you play all that stuff, the winning the game is like a 2-hour timeline from that point, maybe even longer, because it could even go back to when you wake up in the morning to when you complete the game. It's like, I have to win the game. And so that entire timeline of like the second you wake up until the game's done, your idea is I have to win the game. And that can be very difficult because it makes it difficult for us to know what to focus on. It's like, I have to win the game. You woke up that morning, the second you wake up, you're like, I have to win the game. But I find it a lot more useful to be able to break down what you're trying to win into smaller things. You know, they say like take your big goal and break it down into multiple small goals. So instead of thinking I have to win the game, think about, we have to dominate in hockey. There's 3 periods. You have to think we have to dominate each period. We have to dominate not just the game, but we have to win each period. And then you break that down and you're like, okay, I just have to win the 3rd period, the 2nd period, the 1st period. Let's break this down. What's the first step? I have to win the 1st period. And then you have to break that down even further. And it's like, okay, I have to win each individual play to win the period. So then you break it down even smaller. So you're like, okay, I have to win each individual play. Well, where do you start there? Oh, I have to win my first play. That's where my momentum is going to start. And you can kind of see how this analogy goes. You just continuously break down each goal into the next step, the first step, the first step, the first step. What's the first step of that? Okay, what's the first step of that? Okay, sweet. What's the first step of that? And continuing to work through this process to know where you need to start winning. And so how does this relate to a daily schedule or a weekly schedule or anything like that? You're like, okay, I'm looking at my week. I have to win this week. What does that mean? I have to win each day individually. Now, what does that mean? You take a day, and that's today. This is where I was at this morning. You know, I'm thinking, okay, I need to win today. How do I do that? And I use the exact same method. I use the exact same tactic. It's like, okay, let's break this down. And I got it to the point where it's like, how can I just win this morning? You know, I woke up late. I'm already kind of running behind. I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling stressed and I'm feeling anxious. But I want to pull out a W here. I want to feel good. And so how can I win today? And I broke it down to the point where it's like, how can I win this morning? And so instead of getting stressed out or anxious or beating myself up and worrying about the past and worrying about the I slept in later than I should have and I blah, 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 blah. Rather than getting caught in that negative downward spiral, I just thought to myself, how do I win this morning? You know, I have my checklist of things I need to get done. What's something, that I can just start getting the ball rolling? And it was, reply to some emails, make a couple posts on Instagram, message a few people, and start doing some editing, have a cup of coffee. And then that rolled into, I got those tasks done and I'm feeling like, okay, I think I'm going to get my first workout into the day, go for a little run, feel good, shower up, have a good meal. And then it's like, okay, now I'm checking off things left, right, and center. And it was just due to that mentality change of waking up this morning and deciding, am I going to continue this downward spiral that I woke up in, or am I going to decide right fucking now to win today? And what does that mean? And for me, that meant just winning the morning and getting the day started on the right foot. So it's like, now I've got a foothold on this journey and now I can start making steps fucking forward. That's the way I view it. So that pretty much summarizes the idea I wanted to get across today. It is Monday morning or Monday evening. It's fresh in the week. We're early in the week. And so maybe you feel stressed, maybe you feel anxious, maybe you feel like you got a long laundry list of things that you have to take care of this week. And if that's the case, that's fine. You're join the fucking club. You're welcome to the team. But think about, how do I win this? How do I win this week? It's by winning this day. But how do I win this day? It's by winning this morning. How do I win this morning? By winning this hour. And how do I win this hour? By winning this minute. And what does it mean to win this minute? Because every single minute, we have thousands of thoughts. We have thousands of impulses. We have thousands of things in our brain that are pulling us in multiple different directions. And to win this minute means to silence all those voices. and to focus purely on what you can do right now to put yourself in a better position, just for this minute. Break down the months of grind into weeks of grind. Break down those weeks of grind into days of grind. Break down those days of grind into hours of grind. Break down those hours of grind into just thinking, can I win this minute? And build from there. And on that note, we'll check in with you guys on Thursday. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you feel like it was useful or helpful or anything like that, share with somebody that you think that can benefit from it. If not, let me know how I can improve. I'm always all ears. So reach out to me on Instagram. Check it out. We got it going on YouTube, on Rumble, on podcast platforms, any of them that you could think of or name. We have the website, Risen Fallen. We have in-person meetups. We have the group chat. Let me know if you're interested in getting involved. Instagram is at Risen Fallen. I will check you guys on Thursday. Much love and peace out, you beautiful human beings. I love you all. You are the reason that I do what I do. Win today. Win this hour. Win this minute. Let's fucking go, baby. Love you all. Bye.